On you.
Well, give the people a little time to come into the room. Give the people a little time to come into the room. So, Derek, what you got on over there? You got a little nightgown?
My robe. What was I mean, listen here, sweet. I'm at home. I ate my dinner for tonight, and
yeah, I had dinner as well.
Oh, what did you eat?
I had a nice mixed green salad with some spinach mixed in there.
Oh.
I sliced some tomato, some avocado, and had that and a salmon burger on the side.
Okay.
And on the salmon burger, we had like
we
Freudian slip. I had sauteed mushroom and onion, and it was good.
Okay. Well,
now I cannot see the comments tonight because I'm on my phone.
Yeah, Craig is on his phone. Craig is not where he's supposed to be. So I'm in charge of comment duty, and I'm not that good at this. So, I normally let Craig handle this part, but everybody's saying hello, Craig. They're saying,
"Hey, girl, hey."
Yeah, go. You go ahead and start the situation.
Hey, girl, hey boy, hey. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart.
And I'm Derek J.
These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Derek, so look, I posted that Patreon video. When I say they are carrying on.
Because you were trying it.
Derek, that video is hilarious. Derek and I went for a bike ride today.
Yes, we went for a bike ride today, and then Craig badgered me and made me get on his live as always. And
you were not on my live, you were on my Patreon.
Whatever, all that good stuff. Child, everybody want to know where you at, Craig. They said that don't look like your house, child.
Mind your business. I am at my house. I'm just in a secret location.
Oh, they put names up and everything, child.
What they saying?
They said Charlton House. Let's see.
You had a haircut, Derek?
I did.
Oh, okay. I'm like, you looking all fresh today? This evening, because you were looking a little rough earlier.
That's not what we're here for. Craig, Rita McBride.
Happy anniversary, Rita.
Uh-huh.
Happy anniversary.
He's at the fashion.
It's our anniversary. No, I'm not at a sleepover. I just came over here to handle some business. And I'm saying more than I want to say. I'm home. Ooh, Ashley Dewberry said at the new man house. You know what? I've got to be very careful about what I share with you all.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
You don't know who Jamal is?
No.
Okay. So what are we here for, Craig?
Derek and I are on here to have a conversation with you guys. First and foremost, we want. Oh, first of all, let me say this: it's $2 Tuesday. Hey, girl, hey. Is my Cash App showing?
Your Cash App is showing.
Is yours showing?
Mine's is showing.
Oh, okay. Look, it's $2
Tuesday. I don't know what $2 Tuesday is. I just know it's Taco Tuesday. But I'll take $2 Tuesday also.
My girl Stephanie Huggins sent something through here for $2 Tuesday, and I want to say, I can't remember who else.
Because you're on it.
Yeah, I can't look at the phone because I'm on it.
Because you don't have your computer with you.
Right, I don't have my computer, but I know Stephanie Huggins sent something.
But were you able to have a computer?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, everybody doesn't have a computer. I just was asking.
Derek, I'll let you finish. Are you done?
Okay, go ahead.
So we are here to talk about this right here.
Yes.
Derek and I, of course, are getting ready for our next panel. It's going to be a week from this coming Wednesday. It's going to be June 17th. We're talking about being Black, LGBTQ, and the church. Now, originally when we had this flyer created, it said Black, gay, and the church. But then when we did our panel with the trans community, some people from the trans community, they brought it to our attention that just putting gay on the flyer wasn't inclusive. So we had the flyer redone to include everybody. So if you're Black, LGBTQ, we want to hear from you, especially those of you that may work in the church or in some capacity, whether you're clergy, whether you minister music at a church or whatever. But we also need to hear from the pastors that absolutely do not believe that it is okay to be gay. You believe that it's a sin. You believe it puts you on the wrong side with God. We want to talk to you as well, because we're going to challenge you. It's not a debate.
It's not a debate. So we're not a debate. It's not a. Listen. Craig is already ready.
I'm going to challenge.
It's not a debate. Okay. So what's
it's not a debate.
It's a conversation.
It is a conversation,
and we want to hear your thought.
And you're gonna hear what we got to say too.
Well, we're gonna hear what we got to say through question.
Absolutely.
So not debate.
Well, I might make a few statements too.
Right. But the thing about it is that, so this gives all you Bible thumpers out there that's always underneath my comments talking crazy, saying crazy mess.
When he wears his heels and stuff.
When I wear my heels and stuff, and I have on my women's garb,
like this tonight.
This is a man's robe.
That is not a man's robe. A woman.
But this gives you the chance to have this conversation. Like, like come on and say what you got to say. Let's now, instead of being how they type on the computer, Craig. Instead of being Twitter fingers, let's have a conversation. Jamie Mason, I understand. I feel the same way. She said, I highly doubt any pastors are going to show up.
I agree. No. And see, we already know, like, affirming pastors, like pastors that are LGBTQ, or pastors that may not be LGBTQ, but they are affirming, like they have gay ministries or whatever at their church. We know that exists. We want to hear from the ones that are staunchly against gay folk or whatever. Because I really would like to get to the bottom of, like, why do you believe that? Because, for me, I had to separate at some point in my life. I had to separate what I was taught to believe to be true about religion and separate that from what I knew to be true for myself. And what I've learned is God doesn't grade us on the same scale that man does. That's one. And two, God is bigger than any religion. Three, religion was given to us. And when I say us, I'm talking about Black people, people of color. I have a T-shirt, in fact, somebody sent to me, and it says, who did Black people pray to before Christianity, or something like that, or before they were slaves? I can't remember what it says, something to that effect. But we were given this religion, and some of the cornerstones of that religion, Christianity, was to keep us enslaved. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't learn the religion, and when you think about the lack of freedoms that we had, we couldn't be educated. They wouldn't allow us to educate ourselves, to learn to read or speak the language and those things. We couldn't marry at our will. You had to have permission to marry. You didn't necessarily have to have permission to have children, because they bred us like animals. But you had to have permission to, you couldn't, they took away all of our liberties, freedoms, everything. But the only thing that they allowed us to have was religion. And why do you think that is? They took every freedom from us, but they allowed us to have religion. So I really want to have a pastor who believes every single thing, or says he believes every single thing written in the Bible, because I really want to know, are you really living up to the standards that you're setting for everyone else?
And so if you go to that kind of church, or you feel that your pastor is open to have that conversation, let them know. Pass it along. And let them know, like, hey, because we don't want to be this one-sided conversation. We don't want to be like this. Like, we don't want to be a whole bunch of gay people damning the church, saying how they make them feel horrible. We don't want that conversation. But what we do want, we want a conversation that has a healthy base dialogue. And
we don't want a bunch of gay pastors that are just talking about how they got over and how they've reconciled their sexuality with, because we know that we got that because we've done that.
Right.
we're not in ministry, but we had to do that for ourselves. So we know that that's possible. But we want to hear from the people who are staunchly against homosexuality, because I really want to know, like, do you really think that it's a choice? Because I personally think that the church community, the church body, owes us an apology. I really do. I think that they owe us an apology. And when Eddie Long got sick and died, or actually, let me go back before that. When Eddie Long got caught up with them little boys, that was a perfect opportunity for him to say, you know what? I've helped to propagate this lie, and so I'm going to help dismantle it. And we owe you guys an apology, because sexuality is not a choice. Being gay is not a choice. And that's why you have so many people, and I don't even want to relegate it just to black folks, because since we're black people, we often want to say, well, you know, black folks, but no, there are white people that think that way. There are Hispanic people that think that way. Mm-hmm. But, you know, there are people who believe that, and their belief is usually attached to religion. Mm-hmm. It's usually attached to religion. So I really want them to help break that down and explain it to me. And
yeah, so we want to learn too. Mm-hmm. We want to learn, and we want to learn and have.
But you're gonna learn too.
Yeah, but you're gonna learn too. But what we would like to leave from the conversation is just everybody have an understanding. Mm-hmm. You know, they ain't gonna fuck with me for real, but let's be on the understanding.
Right.
You know? So that is so next in 1 week, 1 day. So next week, Wednesday. That is that
tomorrow. Yes. Yes. Yeah, a week from tomorrow. And we have some people that have already emailed us. You guys were emailing the night of the last panel, which is great. We have some. We haven't reached out to you guys yet. You guys know that we have an intern that works with us. So she'll, I've already communicated with her. So she's going to start reaching out over the weekend in preparation for next Wednesday. But, you know, so we got your email. So if you're watching this and you sent us an email, we definitely got it. Yes. Derek and I have talked about some of the emails that have come through. We've already in our head figured out, those of you that have sent emails, which ones we're going to work with or, you know, include in this panel. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So so we came here to do that. And then the second thing we came here to talk about. Yes. Because even on my live today, they were asking me, what's what to say? No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I might have to show you how to include what we're about to talk about, because I was already here. It's in there. I loaded it yesterday. See, I'm on top of the business. I'm on top of the business. So where would it be at? Okay, so go under, I think it says banners. Oh, yeah, banners. And do you see them in there? It's like a video. It's not banners. Okay, this is the one after banners then. Brand. Mm-hmm. Now, don't click it yet, because as soon as you click it, it's going to play. Okay. So, I see. Okay. So, do you want to lead into this conversation? No, go ahead. You can go ahead, because you say I talk to you. I'm always talking. Yeah. Did you hear what I said? You are always talking. You do talk a lot. So I was letting you. I like to give you your time to shine, Craig, because you are Chatty Cathy. And speaking of Chatty Cathy, one of you sent us an email talking about you really enjoyed the panel last week, but I sometimes overtalk the guest. I'm like, girl, I wasn't even really talking. It's I screenshot it. Girl, yes, you did, girl. I screenshot it and I sent it to Derek, and Derek was like, yeah, you are Chatty Cathy. Now, if I sit on the next panel and don't say nothing, the people can be like, well, what happened with Derek and Craig? What, they fell out? What's wrong with him? So I did my live today on my Instagram, and I kept getting the same question. How do you feel about Billy Porter? What are you gonna say about Billy Porter? Do you got a comment about Billy Porter? You know, and I said, well, come to our live tonight on YouTube so we can have that chat. If you guys don't know what they are asking about, let me show you guys what they're talking about. So just click it, right? Yeah.
Just to go even deeper. And black people hear me, because y'all ain't gonna like this one. As a black queer man in America, my basic human rights have been up for legislation every single day that I have had breath in my body, from all sides. And by that, I mean that the black community's relationship with the LGBTQ plus community is appalling. at best, and eerily similar to that of white supremacists versus black folk. Hear me, black people, and hear me well. I'm calling y'all out right here and right now. You cannot expect our demands of equality to be met with any real legislative policy and change when y'all turn around and inflict the same kind of hate and oppression on us.
Wait, did you put the honky tonk music in there?
No, I did not. I probably should have cut that at the end. I pulled it from somewhere.
Okay, so
go ahead.
So I think well, me and Craig, we talked briefly about it last night, and you know, I have my own opinion on this, and
come on now, give it to them unfiltered.
Give my unfiltered opinion on it. Is that I feel? I mean, I understand what he's saying. He's absolutely right, but what I do feel that is that we all have one common goal. We all have one common thing that holds us all up together, and that's that we're all black, right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like we have to deal with being black first, you know. And then I think that once we start, if you make a chart, it's black at the top. Then it trickles down as black man, black woman. Then it trickles down to the issues on being black and gay is like somewhere down here, you know. So I think that one instead of I read a comment that somebody said that basically every time something comes up, it's like, oh, well, what about me? And what about me? And what about me? And what about me? So when everybody's asking, what about me? The bigger picture never gets fixed.
Which is black.
Which is black. Because I'm sure it's a black man that date a white woman that don't feel that us as black people got his back. Or there's a black man that may be too short and they feel like they won't got his back. So it's always
black women. Like black women black women oftentimes feel like black men don't have their back. You know, so black women oftentimes look overlooked. And then, like you said, then you go down to trans people, trans women, black trans women who feel like they're excommunicated from the black community. And then, like you said, so we break down into all of these subcategories. Now, I agree with you to a point. I agree that we do need to work on the overarching issue, which is black. But thank you, Marlon. But what I will say to you is, I think that we need to handle both simultaneously because we can multitask. I think, though, that when we start to handle black and gay is in there too. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I do get that it's important to focus on us moving forward as a community in terms of being black. But it's really difficult when you have segments of the black community, the trans community, the gay community, the lesbian community, who sometimes feel disenfranchised from black people in general. And I said this yesterday when we were doing the Queen Supreme Court show, because I'll be honest with you, and you and I, Derek, have had this conversation. This is why when we get to that panel that we're going to do later about black gay men who date white gay men, I really hope that we can get Don Lemon on this panel, because I was a person, and I'll be honest with you, whenever I saw a black gay man who dated white men exclusively, I always felt like they were sellouts. I always felt like they had some sort of self-hate or whatever with their blackness. But what I will say is I've learned, and this is just about growth and just evolving. And this is why I say, you know, to those of you that watch me, this is why I say all the time, like, you have to give people room to grow. Because the person that, you know, like Kevin Hart, for example, remember he got in trouble for that tweet he sent like 9-10 years ago. Was it a dangerous tweet? Absolutely. About if his son was gay, he would kick his ass or whatever he said. I do think that it's dangerous for somebody with that kind of a platform to say something so homophobic, because it could have sent some little young gay boy off of a bridge. It could have caused some parent of a gay child to put their child out because of a tweet that Kevin Hart sent. So I understand the detriment, but I also understand that people can grow and people can evolve. And so my point is, I didn't see it for Black men who dated white men.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand now that some feel like they had no choice because they were excommunicated from the Black community. You know, some Black men feel like they were hurt by the Black church, the Black family, the Black community. And they felt like it was just too painful to stay. And so they never experienced that kind of hurt or pain from white people because they didn't grow up around white people. So now they feel like there's some refuge. They seek refuge in a relationship with a white man. And so the reason why I said I feel like I owe Don Lemon an apology is because when he was on Red Table Talk, he talked about being gay and being at that point in his career where he's successful and you're famous and whatever. And he said that it's not that he wasn't attracted to Black men. The issue was once he got to that level, there were very few of us that were there and out. Not that we weren't there, but we weren't out. And he was at that point in his career that he didn't want to be trapped in the goddamn closet no more. And I'll be honest with you, I felt that to some degree. I felt that if my star rises and I'm all of a sudden famous and clearly I'm openly gay, I write about it, and it would cut off a certain kind of guy that I could date. It would limit me.
You see how we got back? Y'all see that, right? How he circled us all the way. Now we're talking about Black Lives Matter and the gay people, and it circled back to Craig finding a man when he's successful. I just want to point it out, y'all. I just want to point out that it came all the way back around in full circle back to Craig. How we got
no.
That's not. We were talking about Billy Porter saying.
What they saying in the comments? Listen, we're not about to have this. Look, we had this argument earlier on my page.
I'm just saying, you know, Craig.
You are so trash. You are so trash. Gemini lady.
I'm just saying. But
Marquita, don't y'all pay attention to him. Don't listen to him. Listen, I can only speak from my space, my station in life. I can only give you from my own experiences.
It's okay. What is this?
Natalie said, I saw that, Derek. I was waiting for you to get him.
I was like, well, gee, how do we get back on you?
Well, it's not my fault that your life isn't interesting.
Well, no, it's not even. It ain't even got about my life, child. You just make it for you. Get right back to you, Craig.
But it's no.
Okay. So back to the conversation at hand. And so now I know I may get flack from this, but I've been off of my understanding. And like so, even with I see all the trans women, and they're all speaking out about that. And the thing is that I just feel like you can't pick and choose when you're going to label yourself what you want to label it, right? So in the trans community, I feel like the trans community the trans community will like to be viewed as men and women in the space, you know. So and then that's what they're fighting for. That's what it is, you know. That's what it is. But then when they don't feel like they're being treated, then now they want to pull up the fact that they're trans in the space. And now it's like, well, us trans women are not being. I just feel like it gets all convoluted. Like we can't. Like, are we going to be trans women and trans men and gay men and lesbian women all the time in our space, and live in that truth of it, or, at all times? But you can't jump back and forth between when it's convenient for your cause, if that's.
So you're saying in terms of fighting for Black stuff,
right?
If we're gonna fight for Black, we need to fight for Black.
We need to fight. Let's fight for Black, because at the end of the day, we all do agree on is that we Black. We can't change that. When they see you, you're Black. You know that's so we all know that. That's why, like when I posted something, and I saw somebody in here say the same thing. I posted something on my thing, and I said I'm a Black gay man. And the woman asked, "Well, why you got to say you're a Black gay man? Why can't you just be a Black man?" And like I told them, I said, "Well, before I was in the Black community, before all this was going on, I was seen as a gay man first. Before I was seen as gay before I was seen as a man."
Well, that's the same thing with the trans community.
That's
They
what I'm
don't.
saying, but the difference between what I'm saying with the trans community is that the trans community wants to function in life as the sex that they are in, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a man, that's a man. If it's a woman, it's a woman. So you fall under the black woman category.
Mm-hmm. Or the black man category.
Or the black man category.
Mm-hmm.
But when you feel that that's not working, but that's not, they're not
being acknowledged.
Now it's like the trans community needs help, but it's like, well, now y'all trans. Like, it's like because over here.
So in other words, you're saying sometimes it sounds as if they want to have specific things earmarked.
Yes.
For trans people.
For trans, yeah. And it's like, but where are we? But that might be my ignorance and my understanding. And I want to talk to somebody like I said, we had Hope on, and matter of fact, I need to text her because I like to ask us. I would want to ask her that same question. And I mean, and I may not be saying it right, but that's how but that's how I see it. You know. But I just feel like at the end of the day, the Black Lives Matter movement is for all Black lives. Now, when I understand that they feel like certain groups, sectors of the Black lives is not being addressed, represented. But I just don't. I mean, me personally, I just don't see. For me, in my experience in it, I don't see it because if I get shot or killed by the police or something, they're not going to shoot and kill me because I was a gay man. They shot and killed me because I was a Black man. Gay, straight, trans, you're Black. So,
and that's exactly that's a point that we need to underscore because it depends on whose point of view you're talking about. Because like you and I were talking yesterday, and we talked about what's the trans man's name that got killed in Florida?
Tony Tate.
When he got killed, the cops shot a Black man. They wasn't shooting a trans man.
Right.
And I know that the trans community is extremely sensitive about it because Black trans people, especially Black trans women, have been killed in record numbers, and it seems to just go unnoticed. Like people don't even talk about it.
Right.
And so that's a sensitive subject for the trans community. And so then when this trans man got killed, it looked like, okay, here's another trans life that's been taken. Yes, it has. But to your point that you were making yesterday when we were on the phone, the cops weren't shooting down a trans person. They were shooting down a nigga. They were trying to shoot down a Black man. You know what I'm saying? They didn't see trans. And then I want to go back to something you said a moment ago. What were you going to say?
Well, I was looking at Marlon's thing where he said, I see the issue as that the Black Lives Matter are not incorporating the trans community and thus gay boys as well. They aren't inclusive. But what y'all want them to do, child? Everybody out there marching. Take your ass out there and march too. I don't understand what do y'all want? What
to feel included?
Asking for. That's
this is what I was gonna say. I feel that black folks, because we're talking about this Black Lives Matter, right? And marching and all that other stuff. The reason that trans people, and I'm thinking more so about trans women, because Black trans women have been killed far more than trans men. Okay, and I haven't done any research. I'm just going off of things that I've seen in articles that I've read. And it's rare that I see an article about a trans man. But I believe that the trans community have an argument. They have a valid point because the police may see a trans man when they shot this guy down, but Black people see trans first, and then they see that you're Black. Black folks ain't with that trans shit. Black folks barely with the gay shit. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is, what they're saying is, and what I can also, agree with, if my Black ass got shot down tomorrow by the cops, would Black people carry on? Because I think the thing is, I think that's where I think that we are getting confused what the Black Lives Matter movement is. And I think that the Black Lives movement is a movement that was created to go against police brutality against Black people, right? And let me just say here, it was founded by 2 queer women.
Right. So that's Black, right. So it's about, and I think that we're broader. We're making Black Lives Matter way broader than what the intent is. So the thing is, like, I think that between gays and the LGBTQ community, I think that we are inserting ourselves into a space that wasn't meant for you in the first fucking place. So it's like, it's Black Lives Matter to stop against police brutality and the systematic stuff of it. Because why trans women are being killed? They're not being killed by police. Why the gay people are being, it's not by police.
Right.
So unfortunately, that plight doesn't fall into
under Black Lives Matter.
Under Black Lives Matter.
That's a good point. Now,
that's what I mean. That's just what it is. So now, because we're saying Black Lives Matter, they want to make a broad statement all the way across the board
that's really an issue.
But the issue, Black Lives Matter, is because the issue of police brutality. I think that's part that we're missing.
Right, police brutality in communities of color. So yeah, you're right. So that the issue that we're raising now, that really is that's a Black people issue.
Right.
They ain't got to do with Black. But let me say this. So like I said a moment ago, Black Lives Matter was founded by two queer women, and I say queer because that's how they identify. And I posted this yesterday. About Bayard Rustin. And and if you don't know who Bayard Rustin is, I've already posted it on my Instagram and my Facebook. Just go and take a look at his story. But in the caption, I put Black LGBTQ people have been at the center and at the forefront of every major movement in this country. And that just further, gives credence to what I just said. Because Black Lives Matter was founded by two queer women.
Right. And so people are saying, well, what does that fall under? And
Black people issues.
But it's Black people issues. So my thing is that they're not fighting for, which I hate saying this, but they're not fighting for Black on Black crime. They're not fighting for domestic violence. They're not fighting for, they're not fighting for those things. So that all falls under this other category, which we don't know what somebody has a thing for it.
But you're right. And I never thought about that way. I've never thought about that way.
Well, I mean, right. Because I think that that's like we're trying, that's like you creating your own thing.
And then people trying to tell you what you need to do with it.
And they'll tell you what you need to do with it. It's like, wait a minute now. Words Never Spoken was a book about me. But I put it back on you, Craig, to make you feel better. That's like Craig's book, Word Never Spoken. Right? Now, Words Never Spoken is about you, Craig, right? Ain't it about you?
It's about my life, yes.
It's about your life. So that's like everybody on this feed telling themselves, well, Craig, you ain't put me in the book. You don't want me, Craig. I'm here too. I got something to speak to, Craig. But what about me, Craig?
Right.
That's basically what's all happening. It's all about that.
Hold it, Derek. And Words Never Spoken can be purchased at www.craigthewriterstewart.com, audible.com, Amazon, or downloaded on any e-reader. But no, you're right. And but seriously though, you really gave me, I just had an epiphanal moment. Like I hadn't even thought about it that way, because trans women, a lot of the Black trans women that I've been in close contact with as of late have all said they are struggling with fighting this whole Black Lives Matter thing because they don't feel included in the Black community. But when you lay it out the way that you just laid it out, they should feel at peace. And when I say they, I'm talking about Black trans people who are struggling with fighting this. You should feel at peace in fighting for this whole Black Lives Matter thing, because that's a separate issue. Like you said, this is about Black people versus the police system. Yeah. Your issue is with Black people in the Black community.
Right. And the thing, and I do think that, and I don't want to think that our Black people are that hateful towards the LGBTQ community, that if we watch a police officer kill a trans woman on video and watch her die, that we wouldn't do. I just don't think I got more faith in our space than that, but that everybody's like, well, trans women die all the time. Nobody says anything.
But they're being killed by Black. But they're being killed by Black men, not the police.
Right. And it's not. And I'm not saying that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it's right at all. But we just got to go what the purpose of the cause is.
But let me take it a step further, because I'm sure there's a trans person that's watching this that's thinking, yes, but why should I care about the Black Lives Matter movement, even as a Black trans person? Because the police are shooting and killing down Black men who are my biggest enemy. Right. Black men are my enemy. So why should I give a fuck about the police shooting them down? Because them Black niggas don't care about me. They fighting and beating and killing trans women. So I think that's a part of this struggle too.
I get it. I really do get it. And I feel that, and I know there is people out there that is lobbying and fighting for that space also. But unfortunately, we're not seeing it. We're just hearing about it. You know? So with this, we're seeing it. Like we're seeing people are actually videotaping and capturing these men. Believe me, if we didn't have this videotaping shit, this wouldn't be happening either. Right. Nobody would never believe what was going on in this but the fact that we saw this happen, and if we saw a Black gay man, a trans person, a lesbian being killed by a police officer on video, yes, I feel like my Black people will be out there marching too. You know, but if and please, y'all, I'm not trying. I'm just speaking. I'm not trying to insinuate, but you know, if a trans woman or something happens to them just out on a regular street and just something happens, it's a tragedy, but we don't get this. We just hear about it, and yes, it's a thing that is it's bad. Nobody should die. Nobody should be killed. No, none of that stuff should happen. No, it should happen. Yes, we should work on stopping what's going on, but I don't think that the Black Lives Matters campaign that's happening right now is for that.
Right. It's a different cause. It's a different cause. It falls under a different cause. But I want us to circle back to the Billy Porter thing, because we never really said what we felt about that. Did you have more to say about what you?
Well, you know, I mean, what Billy Porter, it all encompasses everything. What Billy Porter said wasn't wrong
at all.
You know, he wasn't. But it's all about the feeling. But once again, what he said wasn't wrong, but it wasn't because of Black Lives Matter. It's because of Black community. That's a different situation. The Black community make us feel like we are not part of the community. And we're only part of the community at their convenience. Yes, we are. And the thing, and is it right? No, it's not. Somebody said, well, they should rebrand it. But no, they don't have to rebrand it, because that ain't what it's for.
Yeah.
I think that but that's what frustrates me, is that, like you said, but I don't know we can get these. Well, they're probably busy right now. But like you said, Black Lives Matter was made by two queer women. So the thing is, so you think that two queer women created a Black Lives Matter movement to forget their own Black community in the situation? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But I think because, like everybody said, they're not doing it the way the LGBTQ community want them to do it. So now it's a fucking problem. You know what I'm saying?
I think that because they're two queer women, that the LGBTQ community feels that they owe it to us to include it in that. But that's not what their cause was. And they've said that. You know what I'm saying? But here's what I will tell you also in terms of that, and then I'm gonna come back to this Billy Porter thing. Those two women, you can Google them and figure out who they are. But the whole premise behind Black Lives Matter, and I've talked about this on here before. There's no figurehead for the group. Like the Nation of Islam, we saw Malcolm X. With the civil rights movement, it was Dr. King. But what they've learned from watching that is that it's less important about having two figureheads, because oftentimes the government, because I do believe in conspiracy and all that kind of shit, they assassinated those leaders. When we put somebody on a pedestal and said, this is the leader of this group. So they didn't want to be that. So that's why you have so many Black Lives Matter movements in various cities across this country. There's no one figurehead for that. But then going back to the Billy Porter thing, I think that everything he said was valid. I just think that, and I can't say he was the wrong messenger, because I mean, he obviously was the one who wrote it and felt it and said it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that it would have been, and there were Black people who received it exactly the way he said it. But I think that there are some Black people, gay and straight, who felt the way about him saying it, because it's just like, well, girl, you ain't even in the Black community. Like, some people feel that way. I don't necessarily feel that way, but there are people who feel like, first of all, you married to a white man.
Well, I'm sorry.
You know, because they're not leaders, they are organized. Is a big difference. Well, maybe so, but the point is, they didn't want to be the face of the organization, because in past history, the head of these different organizations were assassinated. So that's why they didn't appoint a specific person. But in terms of Billy Porter, you know, it's like he doesn't seem to be attached to the Black gay community, you know. And so I think people didn't really receive it as well. Some didn't receive it as well from coming from him. Now, my Black ass could have said it. You could have said it. You know what I'm saying? And I think it would have been better received. You know, but I think people feel like, well, shit, you didn't abandon the Black community. So how you gonna sit here and air our dirty laundry on your social media? You know, we already think you ain't for us because you're over there with that white man. But so that's what I think. But I think he was absolutely 100. I mean, he didn't say anything that we haven't all said. I just think that it was really timely, and I think that it struck a nerve because of everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, and I listen. Don't get me, I'm a gay Black man, and I you know, and I stand for gay rights. I stand for all. That I live in my gayness, my Blackness, and my truth.
We see from that robe you got on.
But we do have to just call a spade when it is what it is. You know, and once again, I may be wrong. This is just my opinion. But I just strongly feel that right now, like you said, one is a social issue and one is a systematic issue. And I think that right now we're fighting a systematic issue.
Right.
And then once we get through the systematic issue, then we can start and to deal with the social issues. Because there's a lot of things, it's so many things that we got to deal with as Black people before we hit the game. Because I was already, and I was wrong, because it's Black. Them guys talked about them, it's like Black, then it's like financial stuff. It's like all these other things, totally man and woman. And so it's so many things that we just have to get through before we get to this. And I think that everybody's fighting their own space. It's like everybody's fighting for but the Black men are fighting for their space. The Black women are fighting for their space. The Black lesbians are for her space. The Black, even though we're saying queer, but lesbians fight for their own space. The gays fight for their own space. The bisexuals fight for their own. Trans fight for their own space. Queer. So it's like in the LGBTQ space, we have 5 different fights that's trying to happen. Because because think about it, you guys. Let the Black Lives Matter say, okay, great. We're fighting for the trans movement too. Then guess what's gonna happen? The
Black folks gonna fall out. Who gonna say that?
Gay? The gay people. But what about the gay people? And then when they say, well, okay, well, you all can come over here too. Well, what about the trans? What about the bisexual people? They're like, well, damn.
But then you're gonna also have Black folks who ain't with none of that shit and be like, oh, fuck that. That's some old gay shit.
So it's all of it is just a never. And every time we try to make somebody else happy, it's gonna all just be a fucking mess.
Well, I mean, to that point, that ushers me right into this next point I was gonna make, because this isn't just specific to this cause. We saw the same thing with the Million Man March. Do you remember?
Because
the idea came
like, all the women. Why can't no women?
Why can't the women march? Why got to just be men? That was one thing. The other thing was why the Christians didn't want to be attached to it because Farrakhan is Muslim, and it was his idea, and we don't believe in him, and da da da. So it just started to break it down. It started to break it down. It's like and see, that's the problem that we tend to have as a community. And now I'm talking about Black people, period. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, gay, straight, whatever. We can't even see the bigger picture. We can't even see the bigger picture because then we like you said a moment ago, we start trying to pull our piece of the pie. And then my thing is, in terms of getting on the same page in terms of economics, like how many times have we said we're going to do these blackout days? Like, you know, Tuesday was Blackout Tuesday where people weren't supposed to post on social media and this, that, and the third. Or we get on the same, we're supposed to be on the same page and say, well, we're not going to shop on Black Tuesday or Black Friday. Or, you know, we're going to not shop on Amazon on this particular day or shop at whatever store. And there's always somebody Black that says, oh, right. Like, you know, I remember one year, you know, they were talking about not shopping on Black Friday. And I remember saying to my nephew, I was like, well, listen, you know, this is what's going on. I think we all need to kind of like band together and not go shop on Black Friday. Because see, what happens is a lot of folks, and I won't say you don't understand, because I think people do understand it's basics. If we divest from the economy, if we pull our money from the economy, oh, they'll feel it. If we all just, and this is why I say it's so important to bank in a Black bank, because can you imagine if the majority of us who don't have no money, and then those of us who do have money, the Oprahs, the Tyler Perrys, and all those people, the Denzel Washington, open up a Black-owned bank account. Do you understand how that would upset the whole economy? Do you understand that? But see, we can't even get on the same page. So I had said to my nephew one year, I said, listen, let's not go out to the malls and shop on Black Friday. This Negro told me that the kids needed some corduroys and Old Navy was having a sale and they needed to go and get these corduroys. I mean, it's just like we become so selfish, so self-involved that we can't sacrifice for the bigger cause. I'm not going to say any names, but a friend of ours that we know, I remember when it came out that Uber at the time, Uber's CFO or CEO or somebody was a Trump supporter. And I remember saying to one of our mutual friends, I said to him, I said, well, you know, it just came out that this man is a Trump supporter. Won't you use Lyft instead? You know what this nigga told me?
What?
They ain't got nothing to do with him and he gonna use Uber anyway. But it's just little small battles that we can't even fight together. You understand what I'm saying? So it's really hard.
Well, right here, Divine said Black Lives Matter should mean LGBTQ, women, men, children, everyone. But let me tell you, let me tell you, because I read this and it made me think. But let me tell you, Black Lives Matter never said it didn't.
Right.
It was the LGBTQ people that said
it doesn't
take stuff out of it.
Right.
It never didn't say that it don't matter.
And they wouldn't say it because two Black queer women started it.
Yeah, they never said it didn't matter. I think the LGBTQ community ostracized themselves from it.
Right.
Because they felt like in their feelings that they wouldn't get the same support if it was them.
Yeah.
But the thing about it was that
because they don't feel like Black people stand up when trans women are killed.
But once again, they're not standing up because Black men is killed. They're standing up because Black men be killed by the police. I think that's what the part that everybody's missing.
No, I get that part. What I'm saying is trans people have also felt disenfranchised from the movement because even though Black Lives Matter, that whole premise is all Black Lives Matter, whether you're gay, straight, whatever. But trans people and some gay people, Black, have felt in the eyes of Black people, not the founders of Black Lives Matter, in the eyes of Black people, all Black lives don't matter. If you're gay, trans, da-da-da.
That's right. But that's us. That's us putting our feelings into a space that doesn't belong. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we Black Lives Matter has its space. You know? And because we feel like Black people don't fuck with us.
We want to take it out on Black Lives Matter.
We want to take it on Black Lives Matter. Right. This is Black Lives Matter don't got shit to do with what we arguing about.
Right.
We mad at Black people in general.
Right.
We mad at Black.
So in other words, the anger is misdirected.
Yeah. We angry at the Black community.
Right. Not Black Lives Matter.
We ain't angry at Black Lives Matter. We angry at the Black community.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that's what. Yes, Cedric. There's a Black community issue, not a Black Lives Matter issue. Yeah, we're just angry at the Black community, and I think that we're taking that all out on Black Lives Matters, which is now directing the court of what this all is, because now we are, we're making this a different issue,
Mhm.
So that's what it's distractions.
And that ties into this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a part of what needs to come out in the conversation as well.
What?
I said that's a part of what needs to come out of the conversation.
Oh yeah, about the Black community. Yes.
Yeah, about the Black community. Yeah. See.
Oh, I know what. No. We fine. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
It's the baseline.
The baseline is all inclusive. If you're if you're the trans experience, then you are still a man or a woman, meaning you fall under the. Thank you. I feel that's what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
We Black Lives. We are all under Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
You just feeling like because they're not fighting your cause,
haven't right.
And they haven't fought your cause, but that space is not for your cause.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we need to create an LGBTQ Lives Matter that focus.
And we target that against Black people.
But
the way the Black Lives Matter is going after the police, LGBTQ Lives Matter need to go after Black
people. There you go. We need to go after the Black community and be upset with them for not supporting us the way that we feel like.
And the way the Black folks videotaping Karens across the country, we're gonna start videotaping y'all when y'all call us sissy fags and punks.
And there you go. That's what need to damn happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's like for real. Like that's it, because if for you to feel for them, that's the only way that we can feel the space of what they're trying to feel.
Right.
We have a Black. Now, is this the time to do it right now? No. But once we get this all together, then yes, let's create a space of we want to be treated equally in our Black community, and if we not, we're gonna create our own fucking space.
Right.
Yeah. Why try to have a seat at the table? And that's the fucking problem. Create your own. That is a whole. You want to get me out hot today. That is the fucking problem with all of us. We all want to be so accepted by these heterosexual people, child. What happened?
Somebody just said, I've never heard of somebody straight call somebody a punk. Y'all call each other that.
A straight person call a gay a punk. Y'all catch it. Girl, where the hell you been?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
They didn't call it a punk. They call us a faggot. They call us a sissy. They called us a punk. I've been called a lot of names.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where the hell you been, Milk.
Right.
But yeah, but yes, we got a lot of
Derek said, I don't know where the hell you been, Milk. But no, I think
they said get that lie out our name. You try what Milk? Where first of all, what? Just watch a movie. Watch Boys in the Hood or something. I'm sure they say
listen to any hip hop from the 90s.
Yeah, it was a song on my damn thing the other day, but they were just saying it. So yeah.
And Milt, I'll have you know that and I've said this before. I was called a sissy, fag, and a punk by family members.
He said, yeah. Now y'all been faggots and sissies, but no punks. That must be a regional thing. Oh, okay. This is a different.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. I got you. But yeah, I was called all of that as a kid by family members, schoolmates, kids in the neighborhood before I was ever called a nigger by somebody white.
Yeah. So I think that what Billy Porter was saying is true, but it's more based in the space of from the Black community. Right. And I think that the LGBTQ community is taking their issues with the Black community out on the Black Lives Matters movement.
Right.
And I think that we have to in ourselves separate that and understand that these are two separate issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's saying, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, do you find issue now? I don't know if you're gonna get y'all. I don't know if y'all gonna get a real answer because we live. I might have to get this off the. Do you find issue when Black gay men? Let's just start with Black gay men. Black gay men date exclusively or have a preference to date white men?
Do I have a what? What you?
Do you have an issue when a black man exclusively dates white men? He has a preference.
Yeah, no. I actually I don't because see, you only that's not my business. You know, it only becomes an issue if it's a black gay man that you like and that he only dates white men. Then that's when it becomes an issue. But I mean, but if that's your space, that's what you want to live in, that's what you do. I mean, I don't think that much into it, you know.
Mm.
I mean, I don't call it an issue because it's just kind of it all falls back to everything. Where when we like the no fast no films conversation, where he only dates light skinned men, or he only dates a buff man, or he only dates a dark.
But remember, our therapist came on and told us that a preference, it can only be a preference if you've tried both. If you dated a heavy guy and you didn't enjoy it, then you started dating fit guys, you know, exclusively. Same thing with black and white. It's a prejudice if you've never dated, you know what I'm saying, a white guy or a black guy, you know, and you said that that's your preference. No, it's not a preference, it's a prejudice. It's only a preference if you tried the options. If you've only done one and never even tried it, no, that's a prejudice.
So,
Well, listen, I think we've accomplished our goal here tonight.
Yeah, you got me hot and bothered already. This wasn't supposed to be the conversation, child.
We never did go to that.
Let me just preface. Let me just say this right now again. I don't have nothing against black gay people. I'm one of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is just my opinions where I see where this conversation is flawed at. I may be wrong. There may be somebody challenge me. You know, if Craig wasn't so big talking about himself, he would probably challenge me, but he's thinking about him right now. So
how dare you? I agree with the point that you made, and I said I had an epiphany because you're right. I think that the anger that we as LGBTQ people have is misdirected. Like a lot of people, like, well, I don't know if I really subscribe to the whole Black Lives Matter. I've had that conversation with a lot of black gay people, LGBTQ people. And they're like, I don't know, because if a trans woman is killed, they don't give a fuck, or if a gay man is killed, they don't give a fuck. Because even like with the whole Ed Buck thing, and those of you that have been following me for a while, I talked about Ed Buck. Do you remember the Ed Buck story?
That man that had the people to die in the thing.
He was over there in LA. He's a Democrat. He's a contributor and all that other shit. And he's a white man, older, and he was injecting meth in the arms of these young black gay, a lot of times prostitutes, and sometimes they weren't prostitutes, sometimes they had moved to LA and they were destitute. They just were down and out. And he was basically fondling and having sex with them, but he was injecting them and getting them high. And a couple of them OD'd over there. One of them died.
Right.
And black folks, the shit came to the surface, it came to the news, and black folks said nothing about it. So there are a lot of black LGBTQ people who have issues with black people, but you made a very, very valid point. The issues that we have are with the black community. It should not be misdirected and projected onto Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter was specifically assembled to fight or combat issues with communities of color and the police. That's it. That's it. So if there were trans people getting shot and killed down by the police, then that would fall up under there. But a great number of the trans women that have been killed by black men, not the police. So that's a separate issue. It's just like if you go into, what you go to KFC for, you going there for chicken. You're not going over there for burgers.
And you can't get mad at them because they ain't selling no damn burgers.
You're going over to the Wendy's. They got burgers. We don't do burgers here. So it's the same kind of thing. So no, you may. I'm not going to challenge you because you made a good point, and I had not thought about it in that way. I really hadn't. So I guess you have been using your time wisely over there in the quarantine. I guess you have been doing something over there.
Well, I've been hanging around Craig a lot more lately, you guys, with his internet degree. So, he's been able to help me, think differently.
Oh, mess. We never went to that dry cleaners. Did you go without me?
No, I was ready to go. Somebody posted in here too. I just saw it. So, yes, we need to go.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, you guys. So, back to where we were, what we were talking about is that hey, well, what the purpose of this is that if you know somebody in the church that disagrees with the LGBTQ lifestyle and doesn't mind speaking on it.
Not lifestyle.
What do you mean?
With the LGBTQ community, lifestyle is a choice. I didn't decide to be gay. Okay. Lifestyle denotes that it's a choice. I choose to shop at Amazon Fresh.
Jesus. You see this, child? We can't talk.
We got to change that language.
Yes. Jesus. What? Well, that has problems with the LGBTQ community.
Mm-hmm.
Then talk to us. Finish this, Craig.
Go ahead and email us. The email is down there, glmconvo@gmail.com. That's gay like me convo. So glmconvo@gmail.com. Email us if you want to participate in this panel. Give us just a short little few sentences and let us know why you want to participate. Send us your phone number in that email and a picture.
So we can know who we're talking to.
So we know who we're talking to, and that's who our intern is going to contact. She can't contact. We're not having her contact you through email. We have her contact you guys through phone. So please include a phone number. And don't give us no story that ain't got nothing to do with this panel right here. We're not looking for suggestions, niece.
Yeah, no, we don't need no suggestions. We booked out to November. We don't need no suggestions. We will.
Just stay on topic. Just like we said, don't be making Black Lives Matter about other stuff. Don't be trying to make us talk about other stuff. Just stay on topic. We got this.
Yes. So thank y'all for popping in, listening. Like I said, if you know somebody, just have them give us an email, and we will reach back out to them. And do you guys say something? You got a spiel for the night, or can we just say good night?
Well, I just want to say thank you guys for the Cash App. Those of you who may have sent it, I can't see that right now because I'm on my phone. But thank you, and thank you for Marlon for the super chats that came.
There's a lot of people that gave you some. Craig, okay. That came in.
Thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. You guys allow us to continue to do this work that's important to us.
Yeah, you allow Craig to be able to pay our intern. Thank you so much. Yes. So, because, the intern costs, the flyers costs.
Yes, they do.
We upgraded the internet,
I upgraded my internet. I had to get a new Mac.
He got a new Mac.
The system that we use
baby, Craig's stuff was just falling apart over there, honey. The screen was going green. The internet was fucking slow. It was just a mess. But now Craig is up and running, child. He is doing it right, child. So, yes. So you just got
to tell all my business.
Yeah, well, I mean, they saw it. They saw it.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing. My computer, the old one, was not bad as Sophia's.
Goodbye. Y'all have a good night.
Bye, y'all.